We got a lot to talk about today with the Eagles losing some free agents. Wow. So let's take a little inventory of what has happened over the last 24 hours. So Isaiah Rodgers gone. He goes to Minnesota Vikings for 2 years, $15 million, $8 million guaranteed. Milton Williams, the big get for Milton Williams, signs with the New England Patriots. We were talking about yesterday to the Carolina Panthers. I'm going, why would you want to go there? Well, why would you want to go to New England? I'll tell you why. 4 years, $104 million, $63 million guaranteed from Milton Williams. Josh Sweat to the Arizona Cardinals. 4 years, $76.4 million, $41 million guaranteed. Oren Burks, he goes for cheap to the Cincinnati Bengals for 2 years, worth $5 million. It looks like Slay's going to the Steelers, and also the Eagles traded Kenny Pickett to the Cleveland Browns for a fifth-round pick and a backup to the backup, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They got their third quarterback, so all you Tanner McKee people feel good that he's probably elevated to the backup role. So here's what we can make of this. Either you are of the opinion that, no problem, Howie Roseman has something up his sleeve, right? Whether it's in the draft, remember, or whether it's going to sign somebody else or make a trade. You remember when Howie said, you got to be patient. It's not going to look like, immediate fixes. There's a lot to the free agent period that has to be developed. And so either you have the blind loyalty that Howie's going to get it done, have faith in Howie, or you have a little panic situation here that the Eagles lost these players. Now, I don't get the impression that the Eagles wanted to keep any of them. So there's that. And that tells me that Howie has earned enough trust to say, okay, well, he's got a plan. He certainly doesn't have his pants down in this situation. So we'll go to Mr. Football, Mr. Touchdown USA, Bill Colarulo. Bill, what do you make of this whole thing?
Well, good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
So here's the thing. Yes, this was anticipated. We knew that the Eagles were going to lose a lot of players on the defensive side of the football, and Howie Roseman did warn us about this and told the fans, I need you to be patient. But at the same time, even though it was expected, I think it's okay to look at this defense and have some concerns. Now, it's still early in the process. We know Howie Roseman is very good with those second and third wave free agents. He'll make moves all the way up through training camp, even into the season if he has to. But when you look at that defense, you should be concerned right now and question, well, what is the plan? Because I do see a lot of fans saying, it's fine. They have people in-house to step up. Well, that's true to an extent. Yeah, I'm excited to see what Maro Ajomo can do trying to replace Milton Williams. But that's a big ask. What can Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt do trying to replace Josh Sweat? Again, that is a big ask of a guy like Jalix Hunt. Who's going to be the starting corner opposite Quinyon Mitchell? Because you're losing Slay most likely. You lost Slay's backup in Isaiah Rodgers. Well, I'm excited to see what Keely Ringo can do, but a big ask. So they need to do something, and Howie Roseman's going to sign some veterans, I'm sure. But to have the blind faith, this is where I have my concerns. Because even though every move Howie Roseman made this offseason that we just had, outside of Bryce Huff and Devin White, worked, you only got to go back to after Super Bowl 57 where they had a similar offseason where they lost their starting linebackers. They lost their starting safety, both starting safeties. And look at the moves that were made. They didn't hit. Howie Roseman signed Terrell Edmonds. Fail. They signed Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow. Fail. So that really set this defense back 2 seasons ago. So you have to question, trust but verify, right? Like we have trust, but don't just blindly trust. We're not a cult here where everything Howie Roseman says we just acknowledge as gospel. It's okay to be a little bit concerned, but also understand it's a long process, but they have to do something. You can't just rely on the current roster. You don't have enough depth, and you can't just rely on the draft. They have to sign some free agent veterans.
So you're kind of right in the middle.
Exactly.
Well, in the middle. Come on, give me an opinion one way or the other.
Well, it's early.
Can't middle it.
Well, I'm in the middle right now. Now, if you told me that this is the roster they're going into the season with, yeah, now I'm going to be very concerned. But that's just not possible. They don't have enough players right now at these key positions where you're going to have to add people. Now, you look at the D-tackle position. Yeah, I'm excited, like I said, about what Morrow Ajomo can do, but they're going to have to add some pieces there because Jordan Davis is not an every down defensive tackle. We don't know what Ajomo is going to do having a bigger role. What are you going to do there? You have to add some depth. Jonathan Allen has just signed with the Vikings. Javon Hargrave just signed with the Vikings. So some of these free agents are coming off the market. I hope Howie has a plan. I'm assuming he has a plan, but you're going to need depth, especially at the edge rusher.
Well, listen, I got to be honest with you. I am completely unfazed by this whole thing.
Yeah, but you say that.
I'm going to tell you why. Because I look at it pragmatically. Now, Vic Fangio has consulted on all this. There's no question in my mind. So Vic Fangio says, all right, well, listen, you told me you weren't going to be able to bring back Milton Sweat, and I can see why. Milton Williams got $26 million a year. I get it that you're not going to pay at $63 million guaranteed. I get that. Sweat, yeah, he had a good year last year, but he's good, and he's so $16 million a year for him on an average. All right, I can see why you don't want to pay him that. The other guys, listen, let's face it. Isaiah Rodgers, nice player, did a nice job for it. He's all right, but we're kind of good there. Burks, the linebacker, he's replaceable. We could always find another Burks. Dean's coming back. We got Trotter. We could probably draft a guy. Slay, I'll be okay with Slay for one more year. If not, no big deal. We're good. The thing about the Eagles that you have to understand is that their core is much greater, if you want to put the greater than sign, than the fragmented losses they have suffered here, which aren't really losses yet. So I actually have no problem whatsoever with how, because these guys, you were going to lose them.
Yeah.
And was it really necessary to sign Warren Burks or Isaiah Rodgers? Were they that necessary?
Aaron Burks started in the Super Bowl.
I get
right?
it, but come on,
Isaiah Rodgers played meaningful reps. Listen, if they lose Darius Slay, Avonte Maddox, and Brandon Graham, if you add them into the free agents you lost yesterday, even though it's all anticipated, Mike, you're talking about 2,953 defensive snaps between all of the defensive players you
you're
lost.
looking at the snaps and not the players.
But what I'm saying is, to just say, oh, it's completely fine. You have to find guys that can fill these amount of reps.
Well, who can't? What do you find Maddox and Graham reps?
Well, let me ask you this. I agree with you. I would not have paid Josh Sweat or Milton Williams those amount of money. But to just dismiss the Josh Sweat and Milton Williams losses and just think that Jalix Hunt, who was a third-round draft pick out of Houston Christian last year, who you saw come on at the end, he's not going to be able to replace him.
You're missing the point. You couldn't sign those guys.
I agree.
Well,
but it doesn't.
You can't lament it. If you can't sign them and it's impossible to bring them back, how could you lament it?
Because, yes, I agree with you. You couldn't bring them back, but at the same time, it doesn't mean, well, we couldn't bring them back, so our defense is fine. No, you still have holes on defense.
Of course. What do you think? He doesn't know we have holes?
Okay. But how are you filling those holes?
Well, you're going to fill
That's what I'm concerned about.
Fill them with guys where you don't have to pay $63 million in guaranteed money to somebody, which is a complete overpayment for both of those guys.
And I did not want to see Howie Roseman pay Milton Williams that amount of money or Josh Sweat. I'm completely okay with it. This is why I say I'm in the middle. I'm not panicking, but you can't just have blind faith.
You can't be in the middle with the inevitable. That's what I'm saying. The inevitable. You're ignoring the inevitable. Is this a big shock that they're losing these guys?
It's not a big shock, but you still need to replace them.
Bill, where are they going? They're going to go to. Are they going to Bali now? They're on vacation. They're not going to try to replace anybody.
Yeah, but you're acting like that's so easy. Who you getting? Who you signing?
Was it easy to find Isaiah Rodgers? Was it easy to find Burks? Was it easy to find those guys in the first place?
Once again, I'm going to give you the example from 2 years ago. Was it easy to find Terrell Edmonds, Zach Cunningham, Nick Morrow, Shaq Leonard, Kevin Byard, Miles Jack? Yeah, that didn't work.
Because
so
you didn't
you're
have
not
anybody
always
as
going to hit.
backups. You didn't have Jalix Hunt. You didn't have Nolan Smith. You didn't have Moro Jomo. You didn't have those guys. That's why it was difficult. Let's take a break. We'll come back. This is a spirited discussion. Bill's in the middle. How are you in the middle? I don't get it. Either you like it or you don't.
I don't like that they lost the players. I understand it, why you couldn't pay these guys.
But
now I got to sit here and say, all right, well, what is the plan?
I don't think you
What's
understand
the plan?
I don't think you understand it. You're not being pragmatic. 610-632-0975 is how you get into the show. Text board, phone calls. Let me know. Blind faith in Howie, or do you lament something, or are you like Bill? kind of in the middle. The Mike Missanelli Show returns after this.
Hey everybody, it's Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you can engage during the show, and you're not going to want to miss all the content that we post. It's not only the live videos, it's videos after the fact. It's our shorts. It's all the content you want as a Philadelphia sports fan. Looking forward to connecting.